I have a lot of things to say. Pandora's box has been opened with all these files, and suddenly all the unbelievable aspects of the story of my life are now suddenly believable. With all this information coming out, it's been heavily triggering. It's been enlightening. Let me give you some updates if you haven't been paying attention. If you ever called somebody a conspiracy theorist, made fun of them, now's the time when you can say, I'm sorry for making fun of you. Because as it turns out, just about every conspiracy theory is true and worse. And here's some updates that came out in all these files. Amongst everything, so much. But one key thing is in these Epstein files, he was responsible for starting 4chan and QAnon and the whole MAGA movement, the Trust the Plan, the psyop of there being white hats that were going to, there was a good guy. And it turns out, every president we've had since Reagan, I don't know about Reagan, but there is evidence of every president we have since the president we have right now, and every president going back to Reagan has been an evil person, done things that are so horrible that are there's no way we can honor these as human beings that deserve any respect from us. They don't deserve freedom. They don't deserve to be listened to ever again. They're so we've got so what I'm getting at is the whole right and left debacle is over. It's the curtain has been, the gig is up, there's no left or right anymore. Everyone was against us. They all were against humanity. Every side was against humanity. And worshiping evil. And the timing was interesting because here we have a Super Bowl, you have this ceremony, you have all these eyes, and hidden ritual. And in these files, you see that pretty much every NFL team owner is a part of this evil network. And so evil is funding this, like Super Bowl and all these events, and the performances are coded, and your observation, you're paying attention to the show, they think it's like you're condoning evil. That's how they see it. And they unleash these files so quickly, you didn't have a chance to really let that sink in first. You might have skipped the watching the program if you had a chance to soak that in, but they sprang it all pretty quick, you know. So it's almost like you had a chance to read it and it didn't, and then you know. So it's almost like you knowingly condoned, but you didn't condone the sentiment of evil. I know you don't. The common people I'm talking to right now. This goes far. Almost every household name you know is potentially a part of this. The only household names you can count out are the ones that have been vocal against this. The rabble-rousers. Ricky Gervais. Let's see, why are all these names, Corey Feldman. Everybody who's being vocal, you don't need to worry about them. Everybody who's being quiet, pay attention to who with a household name is being quiet right now. Jim Brewer. He seems to be not part of the club. There's a couple people, people who are trying to point at truth, and they've been kind of rabble rousers. Like, those are maybe the ones that aren't affected, but a lot of these big names are in these lists, and they are guilty of horrible, horrible, horrible crimes. These judges are on these lists. It goes into every fucking system, from the royals to the Vatican to the presidents to the entertainment industry to the education system to the alphabetic groups. They're all complacent with child trafficking. I have a story about that. I feel it's time now to show you take a look at this. Can you see this kid? This is me in 1981. I was 6 years old, and this is my teacher, and also my handler. She was my human sex trafficker. I was a sex toy for Silicon Valley elite Satanists. My mother was shocked to hear that my teacher was taking me off campus for lunch at least a dozen times. We had this game where if you got a certain amount of stars on the chalkboard, you could win she would take you to lunch to McDonald's. And I seemed to be the only kid who was getting lucky. She was always calling on my hand and kept getting these stars, and I loved getting to take in on lunches with my teacher. I had a crush on her. I would do anything she asked. I felt like I was on a date with her when I would go on these lunches. Sometimes she didn't take me just to McDonald's. Sometimes she would take me to Wimpy's Burgers. It was like Popeye themed, and I was obsessed with Popeye. I was 6 years old and 7. And she drugged my food and took me to a nearby mansion where there were wealthy men who took turns with me. And then each time after these lunches, I was returned to my desk just about the time recess was over. And so I believe my handler, teaching was her cover job, and I believe she also worked for the CIA and was trafficking me. When I was 9 and 10, through the GATE program, I was identified. I was taken off campus every Friday in 5th grade. And maybe I should save that story for another time. So I was tortured as a child, and my torturers knew that when the moment of my psyche being fractured, and that is when they took the opportunity to program altered personalities of me to do what they wanted to do, to stay quiet and to do what they wanted me to do. And I was a part of a breeding program underground. Those memories, there were memories from that I never understood why I had these memories. From 10 on, I thought they were just dreams. But why was I having sex dreams at this age? And why were none of them fun? I was always restrained. And there was always a woman with auburn hair standing next to me, my handler, telling me what to do. And I was ejaculating into girls that were strapped down to tables while I was restrained near them. And I know this is graphic. I'm sorry I'm sharing so much. So a lot of the unbelievable aspects of things that happened to me that I'm a survivor of, they're coming out in these files, and it's no longer fairy tale. I don't know what the program was called, but I was in some sort of MK Ultra breeding program. And the whole point of it was to create an innumerable amount of babies. The embryos were
you got Texas tags.
I was bused to, the school that I went to was an open campus. It was like open hallways, but then I was bused to this school that was like a cement labyrinth compound, and it had a really complex classroom. It was like 2 pie shapes, and we would sit at these desks near the door where our backpacks would be, and we would have about 40 minutes of a lesson. And I believe it was so we would have if someone asked us, what did you learn today? We would have something to say. And then we were given this red Jell-O, and then we were moved to the inner pie section of the next section, adjacent kind of classroom. And then they sealed off the wall. It had this retractable thing that sealed off the wall, and it was like super dark. And so if anyone were to come into the classroom through the front door, they would just see this wall and these empty desks and our backpacks, and they wouldn't see us. But we're in this dark, and we're watching this movie, and the Jell-O was drugged, and we were in a trance state, and then our handlers would come out of this hidden door in the side and take us one by one in a trance state by the hand and down this hallway, down through this hidden door and down this ramp. And it was very futuristic. Like there was green lighting along the hallway that was along the seams. It was like kind of futuristic, kind of Star Trek. And this is in 1984 and 1985 when I was 9 and 10. And there's a bunch of labs and hallways underground, and they took the fertilized embryos and they grew them in like incubators. And why do this? Because no one was looking for these babies, and these are also babies being made by 2 innocent children. And we were hand selected through the GATE program, so our genetics could have been part of our selection for this program. Also maybe our intelligence level or giftedness. They want to shatter the psyches of those, because they might be able to see past brainwashing easier or something, so they want to get to them first. Shatter their light. It's funny. There's just this evil that it's coming to light, where children have been harmed. I was harmed when I was a child for the purposes of evil. It's funny, I just finished editing my book. It's on my website. It's got my story in it. I'm really mad. So fucking mad. Thanks for letting me be real. You just stay mad and not. I've been an anarchist for the last 2 years of mind and body. I stopped believing in any government. I realized I don't need to be governed. I realize you don't need to be governed. Not like this. Not like fucking this. And you've been trained, we've all been trained to think when you hear the word anarchy, chaos will ensue. But guess what? It's a lie. Let me give you an example, okay? The TV show Walking Dead would have you believe when society breaks down, so does mankind. They turn against each other. Well, I lived through Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans and on the Mississippi coast. I experienced a complete wipeout of any structure. It became, it was like society kind of was gone. But you know what? We didn't turn on each other. That entire region treated it like a giant block party, and we looked out for each other. We clothed each other, we fed each other, we looked out for each other, and we realized what was important. I saw so many people acting angelically post-Katrina. It gave me all the hope in the world for, you know what? If we're just on our own, just people without any social structure anymore, we're going to be fine. That's what I learned when I lived through Hurricane Katrina. We've been taught that anarchy will fail. That is an illusion. Anarchy can set us free. To choose any side that's been presented to us is a fucking slap in the face. To choose any side, political side, is not a fucking choice at all. Anarchy is what I think we need. I recall past lives. I know I've been one of the founding fathers. I know I've led revolutions. And I know I built this country, and I want to tear it down for the same reasons I built it. For freedom. But to get it fucking right this time. You know? Let's get it right this fucking time. We see where evil is. We see you. And if you're in a position, if you're in the military, I don't know how, I can't imagine being in your position, but I want to think about being in your position. If you joined for the right reasons, to protect and serve, and you had like goodness in your heart about the whole, what you're doing, think about what you want to do, who you want to listen to, who you want to obey. I'm shaking, man. I'm mad. And you should be too. This has been going on way too fucking long. And now we can't ignore it anymore. Now we cannot ignore it anymore. Pay attention to who is not talking and outing themselves and their friends. It's time to start talking. If you're a household name, start talking. The more quiet you are, whew, you better watch your ass. Start talking. coming for you.